Hi, everybody. It's Monday, June 19th, and it's time for live chats with Bunny and Maggie. I'm Maggie.
And
There's
I'm
Bunny.
Buddy.
Here I am sitting outside, way out in the country. I'll lift it up so you can see. I'm sitting on the porch and nothing around me but green and fresh air. So, our topic for today is, do relationships have conditions?
Mm,
There's no right or wrong answer here, I don't think, just for this conversation anyway,
yeah.
because each of us have to decide because there's a difference between conditions and boundaries,
Mhm.
I believe. And so that's just what we're going to talk about a bit today.
Yeah.
And what kind of brought it up was, Bunny, you tell the story of what I said to you one day that kind of shocked you.
Yeah, for sure. I was gonna say I don't remember, but I think it was one of our solo authors book launch, and I think you were dropping me back off at home, and we were sitting in the car. I was having a little bit of a moment, and vulnerable moment, and you said something to me that was pretty shocking. I don't think anybody has ever said that to me in my entire life. And it was, no matter what you do or say, I will always love you. In other words, you couldn't do anything that is going to make that change. And immediately I started to cry. Because I felt the truth in that statement. I felt the authenticity, the absolute um, love in that, the purity in that. And it actually made me think about, all of the things that I think of as flaws. And you have seen many vulnerable moments. You've seen me at my best, you've seen me at my worst. You've seen so many different things for me. You've helped me through so many different things. As a friend, we're very, very close friends. And you are the person a lot of times who, when I'm highly emotional, I want to reach out to. So either way, either if I'm extremely excited or not so much, I'm going to reach out and just be like, hey, and you'll offer to talk to me. Um, and so that's amazing that feeling that unconditional love for the first time in a human form was incredible. And and I can't express that enough. So
Well, I'm happy that we experienced that. And I think the only reason that's possible for me, because I wasn't always that kind of person. I used to always, I think, have conditions on
right.
friendships, on relationships, but it was more when I learned how to love myself that I could offer that freely to other people. And I have had clients that I've talked to about it as well,
Right.
that when we truly love ourselves, the game changes. This game of life changes when you know who you are.
Mm,
And I always kind of use the example of some kind of royalty. Like if there's some kind of royalty, the children in that family know who they are. It is never in question that they are part of a royal family.
right.
And as human beings, created by creator, as I believe,
Mhm.
everybody can believe what they want, but my personal belief is that we're created by creator who loves and accepts us unconditionally.
Right.
So if I can receive unconditional love, I can give unconditional love. Does that mean that I don't have boundaries in my life? No, it does not.
Right.
But love and boundaries are two different things.
Yeah.
And I don't think, for me personally, that friendship should have conditions. If I have a friend that I love, if I have a friend that I'm committed to, it doesn't matter if you're having a good day or a bad day. I'm still going to love you
Right.
because that's my commitment to that friendship. Does that mean we're never going to have a falling out that people don't? No, that doesn't.
Right.
We're
Right.
human,
Right. For sure. For sure. And we
you
don't
know?
always agree on everything, for sure. We don't always
No.
you know,
And sometimes we might be just having a bad day.
yeah.
Sometimes somebody might trigger us. A situation may trigger something in us that makes us question our own value.
Yeah.
And when that happens, we treat it differently.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I do know, like you said, right? Like there is a difference between conditions and boundaries. And boundaries are, it's more about what you will do in a situation if
Yeah.
something comes up, and conditions are more you wanting the person to change, the other person, the outward person, to change for that condition, that condition. And I do know that many of us learn this and many of us feel this conditional love because there are many times where there are those memes on Facebook and everywhere else that says if you can't handle me at my worst, you won't get me at my best, or any of those which have always sort of bothered me because
Yeah.
it was like, well, and I understand that comes from a place of pain. It comes from a place of hurt. It comes from a place of wanting to be accepted. And like you said, it is about self-love, and
Yeah.
most things are about self-love. Even when I've talked to some people, when I've counseled or coached them and assisted them, and they talk about, well, so and so said this about me, and I said, well, why are you getting so mad? It must be because a part of you believes that negative thing about you.
Yeah.
And so you're grabbing onto it because if you didn't believe it, if there wasn't a belief of that, you wouldn't care. I said, like, if I told you that the sky was purple, you would go, okay, okay, and not believe me because the sky is blue. And
Right.
everything for you is the sky is blue. So I could tell you that the sky was orange with purple polka dots. You would not believe me because
Yeah.
that it's blue. So when somebody bothers you, when it bothers you a little bit that somebody says something to you, it is probably because inside yourself you do have a belief or conditioning, subconscious, unconscious, or otherwise. There is a
Yeah.
part of you that believes that wholeheartedly, and they've hit that nerve.
Yeah.
And that's what makes you grab onto that and think that. So,
Yeah. And sometimes it's from a trauma that you may not even remember.
correct. Yeah.
It's somewhere deep inside your being that you believe that. And I know I've spoken a lot lately about when we change our inner world, we have the ability to change our outer world. We cannot change another human being.
Mhm.
And I don't know why we continue to try,
Yeah.
because the only person that I can change is me.
Well,
However, when I change me, I have the ability to give other people the opportunity to change themselves. They may see something they want to change. They may just see a change in me that makes them see something they want differently. We have that ability, but for us, oftentimes we think, especially in relationships or with friendships, well, no, you got to do this. You got to do this. You got to stop being that. You got to stop being this. No, you don't.
right, right. It's true, but it's funny because when you said that, why is it that we want to keep changing? So I got a little bit of a download, a little bit of a message at that time was the idea that it's because we know that when we change ourselves, sometimes it is an outside influence. Sometimes it is, as you say, most of the time it is, as you say, we see someone else living the life we might want to have, and we say, how did you get that? How did you get that little bit of happiness? How did you do
Yeah.
that? And we will take the influence of someone else. Now, granted, we have to make that change ourselves. We have to want that change ourselves. And I think you and I have talked about this before. When I say something, because I'm a person who was told very, quite young, think before you speak. And so when I say something, it generally is the truth, full,
Yeah.
authentic truth. And I assume that that's how everybody else is saying it. So if someone is coming to me, and we've talked about this in my coaching, if someone is saying to me, I want to change this, I believe them. I believe them.
Yeah.
So I give them advice on how to change that.
Yeah.
And 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 that's because they've asked it. They've asked this for me. I've asked for advice. How do I do this? I say this is how you do this, or this is one option of how you do this. But as you've told me before too, sometimes those people are not ready for that
Yeah.
suggestion that I've given. And so I had to learn coaching and mentoring is in a little bit of a different way, and asking them what is it that they think they should do, and kind of guiding more in that way. Because if
Yeah.
they can come up with it, then they're probably more likely to follow through with that thing.
Yeah. Well, and I know, even for myself personally, I've been seeing a naturopath to make some personal changes in my life. And when she talks to me and gives me her coaching, and she'll say, these are some options that you have. These are some things that you can do. And she always says to me, and I know you can't do all of them.
Right.
Pick what you can do.
Right.
And that's kind of where it is, not just with that kind of medical coaching, but with life coaching as well.
Hmm.
Our clients need to pick what they can do,
Right.
not what works for me.
Yeah.
Pick what you can do and what you can incorporate into your life,
Hmm.
and choose those things. Even if you're just choosing one thing,
Right.
you're making that step forward, and you're changing, because we're all evolving and changing every day.
Multiple times a day. Multiple times a day.
And that's where I think sometimes this, our friendship's conditional. People may see it and think that it's conditional, but sometimes we do outgrow friendships as well,
That's true.
because we've changed. That other person maybe didn't.
Yeah.
So we don't have that same common ground anymore. Does it mean that you can't love the person? Yeah, you can,
Right.
but they might not be the same in the same circle as you are now,
Right.
because you've changed, not because they've changed,
Right.
because you've changed.
Hmm. That's true.
So sometimes what appears to be conditional relationships are just people changing and evolving,
That's true. Yeah. Absolutely.
and you and I are on this quest to change and evolve. And sometimes it
Always.
comes at high speeds.
Sometimes. And
And
sometimes it's like the message, or the memory I'm getting is riding Space Mountain, which is the mountain or the roller coaster in the dark at Disney World. So you can't see where the twists and turns and the hills are coming. And sometimes that's what it feels like, right? When we're
yeah,
on this journey, is like I'm like, oh, I didn't know I was gonna heal that part today. Like, I thought I was just going for a leisurely country drive. And all of a sudden, or I thought, Maggie and I are just sitting in front of my house talking, and all of a sudden there's poof, a little bit of healing that happened. That was,
yeah. And that
yeah.
happens all the time when you and I get together,
Yeah.
because, as our listeners, we don't usually have these conversations last for hours, but sometimes ours do.
Yeah. For
and
sure.
and lots of things come up that we don't expect.
Hmm.
And it's because I believe a lot of times creator is instigating those
For
conversations and
sure.
saying, what about this? What about this? What
Hmm.
about this? Because life is all about change.
Right.
I had somebody, I think about a week or so ago, saying, I just don't know if I can keep doing this. I don't know. It's so hard. I keep learning the same lessons over and over again. When is it going to end? And I said, it doesn't, when you're dead,
Yeah.
because life is all about evolving and changing.
Hmm.
No cell in our body, I believe, remains the same for 24 hours. Like, they're
Yeah.
changing, everything's
Constantly.
changing.
For sure. For
So
sure.
be kind to ourselves and let ourselves change as we do.
Right. Absolutely. Well, on that note, I think we should let Maggie get back to her vacation, her time with her family, and that's it for live chats, I think, for today. And now, of course, you can always find us on Facebook Live at our At Above and Beyond Facebook page. We do it every Monday afternoon, and then the next Sunday we will be everywhere where you can find podcasts. And please reach out with your comments, questions, that sort of thing at aboveandbeyond@gmail.com. And Maggie, have fun. And I want to shout out to my eldest son, whose birthday is today. Christopher, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Bye,
Have a
everybody.
great day, everybody. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.